Guys, I'm bringing you this deck today and I'm super excited about it. I've tried to record this a couple of times, but I noticed that I was already at 25 minutes and I was only into the second suit of the deck. I had gotten through the majors and 2 suits of the deck because I really like this deck. So I'm gonna try to speed it up a little bit. My name is Annette, this is Project Refine Life. And this particular deck is just so beautiful. I really love it. It is, I'm not going to try to say it in French because I don't speak French, but this is called Tarot of Strange Antlers. So it comes in this box and it has little notch holes on the sides. And then you open up the box and you have some beautiful art on the top and you have a little saying right in here, which translates to, you will find in this tarot answers to your questions, but also forest, oceans, path, stars. When you open up the box, you will find this guidebook and you will find this bag. And below that, the cards were here within the box, but they were separated. And because of that, I was very excited to see that they included the bag because I do not like my deck to be separated. One thing though, once you put the deck in the bag, you cannot close the box. The guidebook is beautiful and we're gonna get a little bit more into the guidebook in just a bit, but each major arcana card has a full color image and each minor has a small color portion of the card and then a page dedicated to each minor arcana card. This deck contains 80 cards. So your standard 78 RWS translation type cards plus 2 extras, and I will stop when we get to those when going through the deck. Here's your standard RWS. So it is a little bit larger, and one thing is that this deck is a chunker. It is really a thick deck. So if you like to riffle shuffle, you're probably gonna have to separate the cards or side shuffle. These are the backs. And so if you read with reversals, you can do so. I'm gonna go ahead and go through this. I'm gonna try to make this faster than my first attempt with this card or with this deck because I really like it and I was explaining everything about it. So I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm gonna just try to go through this as quickly as I can so the video isn't forever. Okay, one thing I want you to notice is the eyes and also the antlers or the twigs. So pay attention to the way that the antlers are moving forward, whether the leaves on the antlers or the twigs are in bloom, whether they're in color, whether there's flowers attached, because it tells you a lot about the overall energy and really describes the journey through the tarot, through the twigs, which I thought was amazing. I really loved the way that this creator did this with this deck. Another thing, before I go any further, this deck I purchased on Amazon. So I believe that it is a mass market deck. I'm not quite sure, I believe, but I was able to pick it up on Amazon and then have it shipped to me. It took about 2.5 weeks to get it over here, so it didn't take that long. Let's get to it. So here we are with the full, and I love the way that her hands, and she's kind of like running into it, moving into it. Her twigs are small and, she's cheerful, she's glowing and ready to move into this transition. Here we are with the Magician, and once again, I love the way that it does show some of these elements. Here, I believe that the element of air is with her breath. The twigs represent the wands, and then you have, I believe, is a crystal. I believe that's a crystal that she's holding there. So there we go for that earth energy, and then you have the cup to represent the water energy. But I love the way that she's holding all this energy and moving this energy and directing the energy. It's really pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the High Priestess. Look at her book. It has all this growth and she is completely in connection with the knowledge, everything that she's getting from this book, everything, she has everything that she needs. You have the crescent moon up on top, just beautiful. Okay. Here we are with the Empress, and as you can see, she has this growth coming up from below. So to me, that indicates like that womb space, that growing from the womb space. And your growth doesn't have to mean a baby. Your growth can mean your growth, your creativity, what you are doing with your creative energy. So I love that. And I love the way that her twigs are kind of behind and above, and then you still have that moon right off to the side. Very, very pretty. Here we are with the Emperor and sitting in a very stoic type position. Very nice. And here we are with the Hierophant. And I always had a problem with the Hierophant when I started doing tarot, just the idea of it all. But this Hierophant I really love. I love the way that she's taking that receiving hand and feeling that energy, just kind of taking note of what is there. And she's holding her hand within a mudra. And she's there, she's in it, receiving what's there as well, so that she can go forth with this. And look at all the twigs. Just gorgeous. The Lover's card. This is another reason that I love this deck, the Lover's card. I love the way that the creator is showing that the love with yourself that you have for yourself, your self-love, to fill your own cup. Don't depend on somebody else to do it for you. Love yourself first, and then you can love somebody else better once you do that. Okay, here we are with the Chariot, and I think this is so clever. Look at how big her twigs are, and it's just pulling her forward. It's propelling her forward. Isn't that beautiful? But yet, even though it's propelling her forward, you can see how the way that she's holding the cape open, where she does have that control over this forward movement. The Strength card. Now I'm going to bring this in a little bit closer. As you can see, she has like little tattoos, and I think that's a medicine wheel on her for the directions. She has some writing on her thigh. I don't know what that is, but with this particular Strength card, I love the way that she is reflecting on her own strength, touching it, being aware of it. Oh, it's just beautiful. And her eyes are closed. I love this. So that's why I say pay attention to the eyes within this deck as well. So here we are with the Hermit, and she has that lantern. Everything is growing around her, so she's kind of going within that energy. And here we are with the Wheel of Fortune, and she's looking up. As you can tell, she's looking up and maybe looking at the cycles that are happening, that are taking place within this. The moon cycle is how I'm interpreting this card. And then she has all these beautiful mushrooms around her. So if you are into the Fae, maybe you could kind of use that and translate that in a different way with all those mushrooms taking place right there with her. Okay, here we are. Look at this beautiful Justice card. I think this is so pretty. She is holding that sword, and there is no reason for it to be misguided or misdirected. Look at how beautifully she's holding it. And even here, you have the moon and the sun that are both present. So she is both balanced and even, and really, really pretty. And I love the twigs that are growing from her. And as you can see within the twigs, there is some color to the twigs within this particular card. Here we are with the Fool, and I love this depiction of the Fool because normally the Fool has been suspended, right? He is hanging in order to receive that new vision, that new perception. And I like that the eyes are covered with these twigs so she can get that perception on her own. She doesn't have to be forced into this position in order to get that perspective. All she has to do is sit and be and think and be in it. So I really do love this Fool. The Death card, look at the growth coming from this skull. A perfect representation of death and transformation, and how the forest is using this skull and just growing from it and through it. And here we have the Temperance card, where she is working and filling those cups. Normally you would see those two even-sized cups, and even though these vessels are not the same, she is still working with that energy. And just finding meaning and balance within that. And I love that they're tiny too. It's so cute. Okay, the Devil. Look at this card. She's holding a mirror up to herself, and then she has the fruit off to the side and holding one within her hands. And these twigs remind me of some trees that are nearby at a camping spot called Coons Bluff here in Arizona. And Coons Bluff is an area where the Salt River flows through. There is some rock climbing to be done there that a lot of climbers go and climb the rocks there, but also there are camping sites there. Now, I love walking through in the day, but I would never go to Coons Bluff at night because the trees all have this kind of look to them. I've never been there where the trees are really like, they don't look happy. The trees look like there's something missing, like there's something evil in there. And to me, that area just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel right. So that reminds me of that particular area. All right, the Tower. How splendid is this? The lightning has come down and it has struck this tree. And as you can see, this tree is being completely just taken apart by this lightning. Everything is flying off. So clearly this tree will have to find its new growth. The Star card. I love the way that she's looking up at the stars. She has everything swirling around her and she's okay. She's in it. She's looking for something better. And the Moon card, once again, you have these twigs. These are illuminated though, even though she's in this shadow of the moon, and you have these colors which have shifted and changed from some of the other cards, showing the temperament of this particular feeling of the card. Here, the Sun. Oh, I love this. She's standing in the sun. Like, look at her. She's standing like right in front of it and she's in it. And again, her eyes, look at the eyes. She's being led by something else. She's not even physically there. She is in another dimension or something. She's just not there, but she's within that energy. And then she has all those twigs growing in and around. Judgment. This is the most splendid Judgment card I think I have ever seen. Look at her. She is just like, yep, I'm here for it. I'm ready. Let's go. It's beautiful. She has this awakening, which I just think is splendid. Okay, here we are with the World card. And the World card, you can see that she has this fulfillment. She's grounded, but yet she's reaching up, not reaching up physically, but her head is up. Her neck is open and looking up. Her chin is up. Her eyes are closed. She is completely in this moment and she's ready. She's ready. She's gone through it. She's ready. Okay, here are our two extra cards. So we have as above, so below. So here it is en hat and en bas. And I said I wasn't going to do that, but en is as. So it would be as above, as below. So here she's looking up and acknowledging that growth and everything that's happening above. And here we are with as below. So she's grounded and rooted. And this reminds me of when I am teaching mountain pose and asking people to imagine roots coming out from their feet and just going in layer by layer within the earth and becoming one with the earth and picking up what you need and leaving behind what it needs. Okay, let's move into the cups. So the cups here, I love the way that this cup is completely overflowing. You have a little seashell there and you do have some growth. The Two of Cups, I love the unity that they have with each other as they're holding this cup and sharing this moment with another. I love it. Here you have, again, this beautiful community, this happiness. You can see them dancing. Very, very nice. And the Four of Cups, as you can see, she has tears in her eyes and she does have eyeballs in this one. So I want you to, again, take note of the eyeballs because it kind of shows where they're at within this particular phase, this particular moment that they're experiencing. She is in this point of maybe just needing some time away from these cups. You know, she just needs to look forward and just take a moment. Here we are within the Five of Cups. And as you can see, she's holding one cup in her hand. She has the other two cups. They do have the growth, but she's clearly focused on the grief of what she's lost with these other cups. And her twigs, you see the twigs? See how small they are? Because that's where she's at within her life. Okay, here we are with the Six of Cups, and I just think this is such a beautiful card. She has pictures, she has her cups that are full, and she's clearly reading a book, reminiscing, but all these beautiful images and memories are just becoming part. And then again, with the Seven of Cups, you have that light, and maybe searching into these cups. She's kind of looking into them, like, okay, what am I looking for exactly? Where am I going with this? And here we are with the Eight of Cups, where you have that pathway still. You have the 8 cups, but a clear pathway and the moon. So you can step into it or step away from it, whichever way you'd like to look at that particular card. And then the Nine of Cups, you have this fountain that is just abundant. You have all this growth. You have this greenery within the area. Just beautiful. Now this 10 of Cups, oh my goodness, look at her. This 10 of Cups, she is just, you know, she's opened up that heart chakra. She's pushing her chest forward. The arms are swinging back. She's stepping into this beautiful, beautiful spot that she has, you know, done the work to get to. Okay, and here we are with the Page of Cups. You still have the fish and you have the cup, and you can see within her that she's curious. Her eyes are open and she's kind of curious. She has that kind of curious look about her. And here we are with the Knight of Cups. Look at that. Blooming and heading forward. I love that. Holding on to that cup. And as you can see within her, I think the faces here are so expressive. She's ready to go ahead and dive into something. She's ready. She's going. Okay. The Queen of Cups. Look at her. Look at how her eyes are closed. Her hands are on the side of her face. She's feeling that energy. She is just in it. She's determined. And you can see that she is confident as she's there. You see the growth within her, that water energy below her. Okay, now the creator of this deck did not like the fact that the kings were above the queens. So instead she switched the kings to be goddess. So all the kings are goddess within this deck. And here, look at the eyes. The king is, or the goddess is just, she's somewhere else. She is in another dimension or something, but still just taking that leadership and holding this energy. Look at how beautiful she is. And she has another seashell right here at the top. Okay, here we are. And now we're in the wand suit. And I love this cauldron. Look at how beautiful it is. She has fire below. There's fire within. That beautiful wand energy. Here she has her 2 wands with the 2 of wands. And she's looking here. She's looking at what is ahead of her. And here we are with the 3 of wands. She's kind of crouched down and clearly looking at this path and trying to decide. It's open for her. So, you know, she can take any road she wants. Just a matter of deciding. The 4 of wands. Now, I kind of tried to look this up, and I think I found something at one point. I don't know. I can't even remember anymore. But I love the way that the door represents like walking into a place that feels either peaceful, and I'm kind of thinking like this may be like those olive branches, or maybe it's a celebration. I'm not quite sure, but you do have these 4 wands that would represent that celebration that would normally be within the RWS, but it's kind of like you're stepping into using that doorway or that pathway to step into that celebration. Here we have the 5 of wands, and here clearly she's trying to get away. So she's not very happy right now. You know, it kind of reminds me of when you see those animal type videos where you see one animal chasing the other and then one climbs up the tree trying to get away. That's what it reminds me of. 6 of wands, And you can see here within the growth on her little reef here that she feels confident and successful. Look at her. She has that little smirk on her face almost. Beautiful. 7. Oh my goodness. I love this one because, guys, we have so much energy within our hands. These are our tools right here. Every finger, the palms, we generate so much energy from there. We receive and we send from our hands. And here, look at what she's doing here with this. You know, she can be in this point where she's like pushing stuff away or, you know, giving into, but I just love the depiction of this because she's moving the energy here with the hands. And here we are with the 8 of Wands. Now, usually you see those 8 wands just flying through the air. And here you kind of get this feeling that it's coming down from the sky, like lightning pushing down into the sky, but it's still fat. I mean, you've seen lightning, right? Like these flashes of lightning just pushing into whatever direction they need to go to. Here we have the 9. And again, she has the wand in her hand and her eyes look kind of like she's taking her own way here. She's taking her own path, but she doesn't look happy, right? She's going forward, but she doesn't look happy. And it's almost like she really doesn't want to go where she's going, but she has to. It's not really a choice, but she's doing what she has to do. Okay, here within the 10 of Wands, you can see the despair within her face. I mean, look at her face, look at her eyes, look at the sadness. And these wands are big and they're overgrown and, you know, pushing down and up and in which direction. And here we have the Page of Wands where she is carrying these wands at this point. And her eyes look completely different in this page or in this particular card. And you could see these little things coming off from her eyes. Okay, see, I'm going a little bit too far here again. I need to pick it up. Here we are with the Page of Wands and, or I'm sorry, the Knight of Wands, where you can see from the flame that there's action, there's movement. She's going forward. Here we are with the Queen. I love this right here on her chest and how beautiful she looks. She has that sunflower there. Just beautiful. Oh my goodness. And this, look at this. She has this on her third eye. Eyes are closed. Everything is on fire. Look at how beautiful this is. What creativity, what spark, what passion. Here we are with the Ace of Pentacles, and you can see like they pulled up that gold that was in that beautiful area there. I mean, look at the sun shining through. Oh my goodness, I love it. This, anytime that there's yoga poses in a deck, it kind of gets me excited. And here we are with the Two of Pentacles where she is balanced. She's in that wheel pose and holding that position. Just beautiful. Here we are with the Three of Pentacles. And once again, I just love this deck. I just love it. Look at this. They're working together. They're pushing the energy together. They're, you know, trying to make this work. Four of Pentacles. The pentacles are within the eyes, and it looks almost like earrings hanging down from her. So, you know, how much more can you hold something than holding it inside your whole body and looking through it with your eyes, making it part of your eyes. Here we are with the Five of Pentacles, and this girl here obviously needs some comfort and not doing well. So kind of showing that insecurity that this girl has, this needing to be comforted. The Six of Pentacles, where it's just flowing from her. The Seven of Pentacles, where she is seeing, as you can see, all these little pentacles and everything coming from her hand. She has that new growth coming through it. And here we are with the Eight of Pentacles, where it's clear that the growth is there. And Nine of Pentacles, where you can see the actual flowers from all of this growth that has taken place. And now the honeys, the bees are trying to or collecting their pollen as a result of that work. Here we are with the 10 of Pentacles with the beautiful lighted home that looks warm and cozy. The Page of Pentacles, look at how confident she looks, discovering and just stepping into these things. And then here we are with the Knight. Look at the way that holding that energy. Oh my goodness, I love this because this reminds me of Reiki, where you're just, you know, working with that chi ball, that energy. Here we are with the Queen, the Reina, and she has her rabbit with her here. And again, the Goddess, and again within the third eye, holding this energy. This is just such a stunning deck, guys. Okay, here we are with the swords. So the Ace of Swords, and again, coming up from the skull and up here. So that thought just pushing up, that element of air. And here she is blindfolded, and these represent the two swords, or actually the swords here are within the earrings. And the grief that this tree has experienced from these three swords. Here we are with the Four of Swords, and clearly this place for rest and reprieve. And the Five, look at this. You know, you have these two up top here and these other that are kind of dug in. And then here we are with the Six. Look at the swords on top of her head. She is clearly within a transition here. She's clearly moving along. You can see the water that is, you know, a little rough here and stepping into something else. And now we have the Seven of Swords, where clearly taking something away and moving away from, you know, getting away from something that maybe they shouldn't be doing. The Eight of Swords, look at that. She is just wrapped up in that. She's trapped within these reeds or whatever they are, and they're thorns. They're poking into her. And here we are with the Nine of Swords, and as you can see, within her eyes, she has this look of like hopelessness, like she really doesn't know what to do within this point, this energy that she's in. And now here we are within the Ten of Swords. And as you can see, this rose bush has seen better days. Like, this is not a rose bush anymore. This is a thorn bush. So it's depleted of its energy. Here's the Page. And as you can see, she is thinking, isn't she? She is thinking, she's curious. It almost looks like she's even cutting off a couple of those twigs with that knife. The Knight, and look at that Knight charging forward. The Queen, I love her stance here. Look at her. Oh my goodness, how powerful is that? And then the Goddess of Swords. This deck is beautiful. It's wonderful. I've used it for a couple of readings. And okay, the guidebook. The guidebook is very well written, very beautiful messages, but it is all in French. There is not one lick, not one word that's in English. So if you are interested in this deck, be prepared to get Google Translate in order to do it. See, as you can see, I just made myself a couple of notes there because I don't know, other than the Queen, Reina, because it's like Spanish, I didn't know the names of those. So I went ahead and wrote those down. The way that this deck comes to you, it's broken down into like the twos, the threes, all of those are broken into the little groups. So these are the aces, and the aces represent manifestation. The twos represent duality. The three, communications. Four, stability. Five, you have adversary. Oh my goodness, why can't I say it? Evolution. And then within the six, that's transition. Seven is faith. 8 is perseverance. 8 is apogee, or like the climax. And then the 10 is the result. So I like the way that she breaks down the number within the tarot. I like that. But if you do get this deck and you use Google Translate, you're going to find that the meanings for these cards are so beautifully written. There is a little bit of a gap, of course, between the French to the English translation in Google Translate, but nonetheless, you can see the beautiful meanings within the words that she used to describe these cards, and it is just gorgeous. Beautifully, beautifully written deck. The book is nice and soft, kind of like that rose petal finish. There are 2 tarot spreads in here. Now, I am going to share with you the deck that I knew right away would fit this particular, the oracle deck that would fit this particular tarot deck, and that is the Moon deck. Now, I've had this deck for quite some time, and if you've been watching my channel, you know I like things to look pretty. But these 2 decks, oh my goodness, look at these. These are such a beautiful match. I use these 2 on the full moon, and the way that the art plays off one another, the beautiful soft watercolors that they both use. Oh my goodness, guys. This was such a beautiful read. The energy of both of these just matches each other, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful read. All right. Let me go ahead and just show you. I'm going to go ahead and separate this. And then you guys, you know that I really, really suck at shuffling, right? So full disclosure here, it's not the cards, it's really me, but you can shuffle it. It is a thicker cardstock, so it is a little bit difficult, but you can shuffle it overhand. You know, I'm being a little messy here because my position here is a little weird with the tripod in front of me, but you can just go ahead and overhand shuffle the deck. It is a beautiful, beautiful deck. The art is wonderful. I could have gone on about this deck seriously for probably like a good hour and a half. I think this deck is just beautiful. I love her use of colors within the deck. I love the way that she uses the twigs to represent the growth or imbalance or the depression or the sadness. It's just wonderful. It's beautiful. I love this deck. It's so pretty. So I have not experienced anything like this deck. I haven't had anything in my possession that quite matches this particular type of energy where you're working with that earth energy. And the way that she uses and channels the energy within the deck, like the way that she uses her hands, I'd be interested to know if this particular creator is an energy worker, because you can see it within the deck. You can see the way that she, you know, moves that energy with her hands. Oh, guys, I love this deck. I really, really do. And I'm so happy to have it, because this to me is a real fall type deck, but I don't think I'm just going to be using this during the fall, because this is an absolutely stunning deck. Thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate you joining me. I wish you a day full of love, joy, and happiness. From my heart to yours, I will see you later.